Okay, right. Okay, right. What I told you is. Right. So what I was talking about is previously. Uh, uh, so according to the theory, that means according to the accepted theory, the counselor is a professionally qualified person, and his uh, task is to support the counselor to identify the problem, make him understand the problem, and facilitate him, encourage him, support him to find solutions to his problems. So he is no more a person who gives ready-made solutions now, unlike guidance. But here, Carl Rogers gives a totally different idea. So according to his theory, according to theory of self, right, that the client has the ability to determine the problem. Client has the ability to identify the problem, the root causes for the problem, and he has the ability to solve the problem. And the only thing that should be done by the counselor is to provide a comfortable and acceptable atmosphere, right? Just to facilitate him. So then the client can discuss his or her problem with the counselor and find solutions to the problem. According to Carl Rogers, he says that client is mature enough to understand his or her personality, strengths, weaknesses, and all. And here, counselor's job is very minimal. He has no much responsibility in this regard. So when it comes to finding solution, it is done by the counselor, client, right? So now I want you to discuss the rest of the things. Wait. Stop. Right. So then, according to theory of self, the role of counselor can be outlined like this. The counselor should present himself as open, genuine, and consistent person. That means here, the counselor's role is very minimal, as said by Carl Rogers. He has to become a very genuine person. Consistent, he can't change anything, right? He has to be consistent, and he should respect the client, and he should understand the client's viewpoint, and adapt his process of thinking according to that. Right? That is what Carl Rogers says. Right. So, okay, how can I do that? I can't put you into groups also. The breakout rooms. Right. I want you to discuss about his theory. How can I do that? Even I have no way of sending also this, because normally what I do is I send it to Mr. Vishal and he sends you all this thing. Okay, let's keep on talking about it, right? And you give your views. But in my case, I have an opponent view because I think counselor is someone who should facilitate the counselor to find solutions, not to find ready-made solutions. And counselor has that. After just facilitating, only the counselor gets the ability to find a solution, because if he is able to find solutions without the assistance of the counselor, that no need of counseling. But anyway, it's the Carl Rogers, he gives more weight to the client. He says client is capable of doing that. He is matured enough of taking decisions for his problems, right? Okay, we'll see. Carl Rogers' theory is based on 19 propositions. That means accepted points. So there are 19 accepted points according to Carl Rogers' theory. He says that all individuals are the center of changing world. So he has given the focus to the individual. Therefore, continually keep evolving along with the environment. So then client is the main focus, and he always keeps connections with the environment. Every individual reacts to a field or stimulus as it is perceived and experienced. So every time he reacts to a field. Now, if we consider about the fields in counseling, individual counseling, family counseling, educational counseling, trauma counseling, psychology counseling. So there are so many counseling fields. So he reacts to a field or stimulus. Stimulus means some kind of now, as an example, if you have learned in psychology, stimulus response, have you learned about stimulus in psychology? The Pavlov's story, Pavlov, that dog, Pavlov used a dog to give you some ideas about stimulus response. Did you learn about stimulus response or behavioral theories in psychology?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you know that what stimulus is. So what's the stimulus that given to the dog by Pavlov?
The saliva.
Saliva is not a stimulus. Because of the stimulus, that saliva came out. What's the stimulus?
Eat.
Yeah, he was given food. So in as a response to the stimulus, that salivation occurred, right? Stimulus is that kind of thing that gives you some kind of enable you to get some response, right? So then he says every individual reacts to a field or stimulus. So like that Pavlov's dog reacted to the food, like, so every individual reacts to them, right? So then it is because he has already gained this experience. So therefore, every individual react to a field, as I told you, family counseling, educational counseling, psychology counseling, trauma counseling. He has already gained experience in these things, he says. The individual reacts as an organized whole to the reality. So now here he says individual is an organized whole. Organized whole. So that he can face the reality. Then when a person reacts to the reality, a part of the reality becomes differentiated part of the person or the individual, right? So now in nutshell, what he says is, every individual has got his previous experiences in the environment. So when he is given some kind of stimulus, like that Pavlov gave his dog, they respond because they have already gained experiences previously, right? Then he says, okay, an individual forms a structure of the self when he interacts with the reality and with others. This self, therefore, plays an important role in forming the pattern of relationships and interactions with others. So he says, when he is responding, he plays an important role. So he, as a whole being, organized being, the client, he plays an important role and he builds up relationships and he interact with others. So what Carl Rogers say is, an individual, the client, he says that he's a matured person. He can solve his own problems. And only thing is that he should be given some good environment by the counselor. And he says that, so individual forms a structure of the self when he interact with reality, when he faces the reality. And therefore, he plays an important role in forming the pattern of relationship. So he builds up relationships and they interact with other people in the society. Every individual has the basic tendency to strive and actualize, and it is done so to maintain and enhance itself in the changing environment. So he says that every individual try his best to achieve his ultimate goals. So every individual has some goals. So anyhow or other, by developing relationships, by interacting others in the society, he try his best to actualize, that means reach the goals, expected goals, right? Then the best manner in which the behavior of an individual can be understood is by understanding the internal self of the individual, right? So then how can we understand this person? How can the counselor understand the client? We have to understand his internal self. So it can be done by having interactions, discussing, interweaving, right? Okay, next one. Behavior is always accompanied by an emotion which further facilitates the maintenance and enhancement of the individual. So then always that the individual, this client, he has some emotions, right? So then he always with emotions. So which further facilitate the maintenance and enhancement of the individual, because of sometimes that there are people who can control their emotions, some people cannot control their emotions. Therefore, counselor should facilitate them to maintain their emotions or enhance their emotions. Every individual experiences values. These values may be experienced directly or by taking over or observing the values of the other individuals, right? So if we talk about the values, right? So as an example, respecting elders, abiding by rules in a country, නීති රීතිවලට ගරු කිරීම, වැඩිහිටියන්ට සැලකීම, then maintaining the traditions and customs of the society, සමාජයේ තියෙන සිරිත් විරිත් විදිහට අනුගමනය කිරීම, right? So these are the values that we maintain. So these values may be experienced directly or by taking over or observing the values of other individuals. So now they learn values by observing others. Sometimes they imitate, they observe what others do, or they experience in their own society, right? Right, so there are 19 we'll discuss. Experiences are a part of life of an individual, and as these occur, they are symbolized, perceived, and organized into some relation to the self, or ignored and denied symbolization because the experiences are considered inconsistent with the structure of the self. So he says that experiences are part of the life. So experiences are very, very important for a person. And he says experiences are considered inconsistent. Inconsistent means that they are not very stable. Sometimes these experiences changes with the person. Individuals adopt a specific behavior that becomes consistent with the concept of the self of an individual. Sometimes they they change their behaviors according to the individuals. They adopt specific behaviors that become consistent. Therefore, now they adopt certain behaviors which are consistent, that is essential for them to remain in the society. Sometimes an individual may behave in a specific manner because of certain experiences, and this behavior is not consistent with the self. So sometimes we happen to now hear it is not our actual behavior, but we have to behave because of the norms of society, because it is accepted by the society. Now, if you can remember that Prince Henry, that William's brother, what's the name of his name? Prince William's brother, who got married to that American actress, Harry, Prince
Harry.
Harry, yeah, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So then they had to, when Meghan Markle was married to Prince Henry, she had to maintain certain learned behavior, right? So then these uh, royal family, they are maintaining certain behaviors, so she had to adopt them in order to be with them, but it is not her actual behavior. So later on what happened was that she couldn't bear it up anymore. Both of them, they gave up their royal privileges and they turned to a normal behavior. So like that, sometimes we have to adopt certain behaviors to behave with others in the society. සමහර අපිට බලහත්කාරයෙන් අපිට ගන්න වෙනවා සමාජය අනිත් අයත් එක්ක ජීවත් වෙන අපි මේන්ටේන් නොකරා. Then every individual needs psychological adjustment, especially when all experiences of an individual are consistent, the concept of the self of the individual. That is also true to a certain extent, because sometimes we have to adjust. Psychological adjustment is very, very important in certain cases. Psychological maladjustment may also take place when an individual denies all the experiences that take place around him as not being related to or consistent with the concept of self. Sometimes when we undergo some maladjustments, psychological maladjustments. That means psychological maladjustments means that we are suffering from some kind of psychological problems. It happens for certain people, right? Because due to many, many reasons. This leads to psychological tension, which an individual may often experience. So if we have psychological maladjustment, if we are differentiate from the normal psychological status, then person have psychological tensions, right? Then when an experience is not considered consistent with the concept of the self of an individual, it is considered to be a threat. So now we know that we as an individual, we have undergone certain experiences, we have certain behaviors, so we have certain values. So if we sometimes certain things, I told you that like what happened to Meghan Markle, we have to adopt certain things to behave in the society. So then when the experience is not considered consistent, so now sometimes these experiences are not going with our way. සමහර අත්දැකීම් අපිට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? So then it considers to be a threat. Then we can't bear up those experiences. Now that what happened to Meghan Markle, she couldn't bear it up anymore. So since she had to give up everything, right? These threats make it difficult for an individual to maintain his self-esteem. So now this Meghan Markle, that she had to maintain these royal rituals, that habits, customs in order to maintain her self-esteem. But she couldn't bear it up anymore. That limit එක පන්නට පස්සේ එයා හිතුවා තේරුමක් නෑ මට මේක කරන්න බෑ කියලා. So like that. When threats are absent, certain experiences that were previously considered inconsistent with the concept of self can be revised and assimilated as an experience of the self, right? So then sometimes certain experiences we can revise. අපිට ඕනෙට අපිට හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් සමහර අත්දැකීම්, right? Then it goes with the experiences of the self. Right now here in the case of Meghan Markle, she couldn't do that. එයාට ඒක adapt කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. She couldn't adapt those experiences to her life because it's totally different. So she did not try to revise that, she left. An individual, after perceiving and accepting all consistent and inconsistent experience as a part of the self-concept, can understand the fact that, wait, an individual, after perceiving and accepting all consistent and inconsistent experience as a part of the self-concept, can understand the fact that he is different from other individuals and every individual is unique, right? So we know that we have discussed from the very beginning, every individual is unique. That means there are no two individuals who have same feelings, same ideas, right? Same opinions. So then he identifies finally that he or she is unique. Right? Then when an individual assimilates several experiences in his concept of being, he undergoes a change in the system of values acquired by him. So finally he understands that he cannot go on par with every experiences of others, and we have to have our own system of values, our own system of behaviors, and our own systems of way of living. So that is what Carl Rogers say. You may feel sometimes very difficult to understand. I don't think that there will be questions from this, but it is somewhat different from what is counseling. His idea, which has been given about self theory of self, is totally different from what counseling is. Right. So then, theory of self was basically developed as a foundation of therapy. Therapy means a treatment which involved the emotional state of an individual. According to Carl Rogers, the attitude and the contribution of the counselor plays an important role making a therapy effective. Right. So now counselors, apart from helping them to find and understanding the problem and finding solutions, sometimes they give treatments. So they are not like that medicine, but they have certain treatments. So if I give you an example, so now about 2 years back, there was a very good girl in a college that she's very, very studious. And one day, her friend said that she, at night, she has, now, they have observed her behavior. Now, sometimes when all the other students go to bed, she takes a phone, switch on the light of the phone, and she works, right? So one day at night, she has run alone to the area where there are no people. She had run alone. That means at mid of the night. So all the other friends had gone with her. And then later on, the friends came to me and said, now this girl, she needs some counseling. Even the girl herself said that she needs some counseling. But the problem is when now she has understood there's something wrong with her. And when it was discussed with the girl, she said that her friend said, now since she's a very studious one, some other friends come to her to get some assignments done by her. That means like literature and whatever it is, since she's very studious, that they get the assignments done by her and she has no time to do her work. And she never say no to any of the friends who come to get the help. So finally, she couldn't bear it up. So then she had tried to do when the friends go to bed, that she did not want to disturb them. Therefore, she used the torch, phone torch, and she did the work. So finally, it came to a situation she couldn't bear this up anymore. So then finally it was erupted and she was about to get some kind of psychological imbalance. So finally we involved in that. But the unfortunate situation is the parents did not, especially because mother is bedridden and father is, we talked to the father and he is not there to accept that she needs counseling. So we also can't help, because if the parents are not willing to give her counseling, so then we are also very helpless. Finally, she has talked to one of, even that we talked to her mother's sister and told her problem and said that she needs counseling, whether she can help. Then she has told, since the father is not willing, they can't involve. So we were in a very big problem. Finally, she herself found her teacher, one of the teachers, and told that she has this kind of problem and she needs some kind of help. So thereby she went home and she has taken some therapy, but the therapy is given by the counselor were listening to music, meditation, and forgetting about the problem using certain techniques. So these kind of things that she had to practice for some time. So these are the therapies. So they don't give medicine at once if the problem is not very severe, because there are certain cases that the students are given, people are given medicine, but here therapies are just practices they have to do until they become normal. Right. So then, um, if we consider about the needs of counseling for students, right? As you aware, what was the major reason for establishing counseling units in schools? Tell me if you know, you can give your answers. What was the main reason of establishing counseling units in the schools? මොකක්ද හේතුනේ මේ counseling unit schools වල හදන්න? Tell me. You can just guess.
To help the students.
Yes, that is to help the students, but there were two major reasons why the government decided to have counseling units in schools. There was a very severe case in the whole country. Can you guess?
To protect the students from the
It was tsunami and war. Yeah, because that's during tsunami, many of them who underwent that agony, that they have seen their relatives were taken away by the water current. And even during the war, they saw their relatives were killed, the violence, and they were shocked by the missiles and the shooting incidents that they have undergone, these kind of experiences. Therefore, the government decided to have counseling units in the schools, right? They were the main reason, tsunami and war, right? So then counseling services in schools and colleges need to be administered to meet the administration and education needs of the students. So now most of the schools, they have counseling units to help the students, those who have problems, educational problems, psychological problems, family problems, right? Then, so these are the reasons that they need counseling. So first major thing is like guidance for the total development of the students, overall development of the students. Then to ensure that the students make proper choices, that means now here they have to take correct decisions related to the selection of A-level subjects, A-level streams, then optional subjects. They take correct decisions regarding co-curricular activities they have to do. Then the other one is selecting courses for their professions. We discussed previously, right? Correct, taking correct decisions. It ensures that the students make proper career choices and do not go wrong. So that is now it is called career counseling or professional counseling, that to give them the idea of selecting correct choice, correct job or correct course for according to their talents or their skills. It facilitates the students in their vocational development, right? So then again, from career counseling, it helps to um, improve their skills by giving training. Right now, if we consider about NITA, NIBM, after the course, they give 6 months training. So thereby that it is added qualifications to go, qualification to go for a job. Right. Then, okay, next one. right? Then it motivates the fresh graduates to crave a job they like. Crave means like, right? That new graduates, now thereby it helps the graduates to like a job. Then guidance and counseling services are necessary to help students face the situations of life and adjust to their environment physically, mentally, as well as emotionally. So as I told you last week, that there are some students who need guidance, sometimes counseling, to adapt to situations, because now there are some students, they are the only child in the family, they have been adapted and petted by the parents. So when they come to a common place, they can't adapt to that situation. So therefore, guidance and counseling help them to adapt or adjust to the environment physically, mentally, and emotionally. It motivates students from weaker sections of the society to perform well at the educational and vocational level. Right? So there are some students that who need some kind of guidance or counseling to perform well. Right? So they need some kind of guidance. So they need some steps. That means sometimes in the job, maybe in their courses. So they need constant guidance for them to perform well. It encourages the student to take the right decisions in case of confusion and turmoil. Now, when they sometimes they face certain very confusing situations. So in such cases, they need guidance or counseling of somebody to take right decisions. So as an example, imagine now mother goes abroad and there are number of siblings at home. So the father asked the child, the elder child, to stay at home to look after the siblings. So now here she likes to study. She doesn't like to stay at home. So now in such cases, she has to take right decision, either to ask her grandmother to come and look after the children until she goes to school. So like that, they have to take right decisions. To prevent wastage and stagnation of education and vocational resources, right? So we need guidance and counseling to reduce the wastage. Stagnation කියලා කියන්නේ එක තැන පල් වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. So resources, so they can take maximum use of certain resources, available resources they have through guidance and counseling. So especially now imagine um, uh, if they want a career to practice. Now imagine there's a computer room that there's nobody to make use of it. So we can get some professional and get his support to operate it and give it for the use of people, the students. So then it is, sometimes it's a wastage if we don't use it. Right, then to identify the students who need special help and assistance. So there are some students who need special help, special assistance, especially those who are suffering from depression, stress, right? Counseling ensures that students spend their leisure time and time spent outside the classroom in a productive manner. So especially the students now, because of the new technology, they are just wasting a lot of time. So they can give both guidance and counseling to spend their leisure time in a very productive manner. Right? It helps to minimize the indiscipline among students, right? Because now you see that a lot of even sometimes after O levels, that I saw that in one class they had bent the fans. Fans තට්ටු නමල ගිහිල්ලා. So then like that they have some disastrous behavior. So then it can be minimized by giving guidance and counseling. Right? Okay. School guidance and counseling in Manitoba. So this was in your syllabus. That's why I took use these things, so that in Manitoba, the guidance and counseling of students is an integral component. It is essential component of the educational mission of the school. But in our country, that we don't consider it as it's an integral part, but it is not practiced in every school. Guidance and counseling services and programs promote the personal, social, educational, and career development of all students. So it is true. So through guidance and counseling, we can improve personal, that means that strengths and weaknesses we can identify, we can improve their strengths and minimize the weaknesses. Then they adapt socially, they can improve their educational, they can avoid educational problems and improve, and it is also essential for career development of the students. Information for schools, students and families. In school, the school counselor has specific duties and responsibilities and carry out several activities that address the needs of the following. So they have to help the students. Sometimes they have to discuss with the parents or guardians related to the students' problems. They have to get some information and advise them. Now, in the case of, I told you that mother has gone abroad, and the child father asked the student to stay at home looking after the sibling. So in such case, if the child informs it to the teacher or a counselor, the counselor can ask the father to come to school and make the father aware of the importance of education and ask him to find a solution to solve this problem, either getting the grandmother to the home to look after the younger ones, or one of his siblings, that child's aunt, to come and look after them during the time the child is studying. So they can discuss with the guardian or parent to find a solution. So sometimes the counselor needs the help of colleagues or professionals. As an example, if there are students who are poor at mathematics or any subject, English or whatever it is, the counselor can ask the colleagues to help those students to improve their uh, education. Then sometimes they have to work in the school and community, make the community aware about certain things, especially about these guidance programs, and they have to get certain assistance from the community. As an example, if there are all boys association, that they can get certain help to give sponsorship for organizing career counseling programs, and even they can get the help of their colleagues to organize seminars for exams, then positive thinking, leadership. So there are so many programs they can organize with the help of community and the well-wishers and the school. Right. When working with students, the main responsibility of the school counselor is towards the student in the school. So these are the responsibilities of the counselor towards the students. The school counselor offer their professional service, right? The school counselors offer their professional services to meet the educational, academic, career, personal, and social needs of all students in the school setting. We discussed this previously, the purposes of counseling. So the counselor, now when the children have educational problems, they help them to overcome them. Academic problems, career problems, personal problems, even breakup of a love affair, even separation from parents. So then when they feel they are neglected by the parents, if they have some social needs, sometimes if they feel they are bullied by friends or they are neglected or ill-treated by the peers. So like that, in these cases, they can meet the counselor and can get help. Then the counselor should develop and deliver guidance and counseling programs. Right. Tell me your idea about guidance and counseling programs that can be organized by the counselor in the school. I also told certain things now. Tell me some kind of programs that can be organized by the counselor. Kian,
Guidance program for students after O levels and A levels, madam.
regarding what? For what?
Regarding choosing the stream
Ah, yeah,
for
okay.
students.
Okay, what? That is one.
And
Another one.
for A-level students, the career opportunities they will have, about the job market.
Yes, so they can invite some expertise in different fields and they can organize career counseling program. Right? They can invite lawyers, some
Resource persons.
resource person from different fields like SIMA, AAT, soft logic. So they can make them aware about the opportunities, career opportunities, trends they have in the career, and what are the job opportunities they have in Sri Lanka, in other countries. So I can remember that once we went with our students to um, one of these kind of seminar at BMICH, and he said, even now, there are 5,000 vacancies for IT jobs, but there are no experienced people, that means suitable people for them. That Indian people, they have established some IT firm here, and they have advertised for thousands of opportunities, but there are very few who are qualified for that. Even he gave an example. One mm, person, one boy that who has got all the qualifications in other countries, and he came for an interview. So he was looking down throughout the time when he was interviewed. Then they said, whatever the qualifications he has, he did not face the interview well. So they can't take a person like that. And there are people who are well qualified, they have all the experiences and all that, they can't work with other people. So everything should be there if you want to, when they are recruiting people, they consider all these things, right? Then, uh, yes, that is one. So they can organize career guidance workshops. They can organize the awareness program for selecting subject streams. Then leadership qualities, how to improve leadership qualities, positive thinking, how to prepare for exams, O levels and A levels. So they can organize these kind of workshops in the schools. Then they have to work within their professional boundaries of competencies, which they become qualified undergoing training or experience. So now they also have certain kind of limitations, right? So there are ethics that they have to maintain, right? So then according to training or experience they have gained, there are certain limitations that they can't go beyond those limitations. When the school counselor feels that he cannot, so now I will tell some of the ethics that they have. Now this is only one. So one of the ethics is maintaining confidentiality of the client. That means now when they get a client, they can't reveal information about the client to anybody. කාටවත් එයාගේ විස්තර දෙන්න බෑ. They have to maintain the confidentiality of information of the client. But there are certain occasions they can reveal them. So one is when there's a court case, or when the court request some information regarding this person for legal purposes. Then only they can reveal their information. Another thing is, if the counselor is helping a client in one of the institutions, he cannot get him to his private place. Now, imagine now he is working at Sumitra or Ovin. Women in need, counselor. So he cannot ask him to come to his personal place. Counseling or tuition. Other thing is they cannot advertise. Propaganda එකක් දෙන්න බෑ counseling වලට. Advertise කරන්න බෑ. දැන් tuition classes වල posters ගහන්න විතර counseling තියෙනවා කියලා. We can't do that. That is against the ethic. Then they can't accept any reward or sexual gain from the counselor. තහනම්. Because sometimes they are giving it for certain amount of fee. ඒ අර වෙන දේවල් ගන්න බෑ. Right? So another thing is, if he feels that he cannot help the counselor anymore. මට මෙයාට තවදුරටත් help කරන්න බෑ. මට මගේ capacity එක මදි කියලා දැනුණොත් he has to stop giving counseling immediately and refer him to a suitable person. යාව ගැළපෙන කෙනෙකුට යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? So these are the ethics in counseling. So here is only one. When the counselor feels that he cannot meet the needs and the demands of the students who need special service, they should refer the student to outside counselor. That is called referral. In referral, can you have refer කරනවා කියන එක, right? Right. Now this is a question. Okay, go through this and try to find an answer. Find answers for these three. Just read here one. Right. At the beginning of the year, the grade 9 class teacher tells her students, I do not differentiate students based on their family background. මම වෙන් කරන්නේ family backgrounds අනුව abilities, appearance or qualities. I treat everyone alike. මම හැමෝටම එක විදිහට තමයි සලකන්නේ. This year, you all should determine to perform better than last year in every aspect. දැන් මේ අවුරුද්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝ හොඳට මේ මතක තියාගන්න ගිය අවුරුද්ද වගේ නෙමෙයි හොඳට perform කරන්න ඕනි. I will help every student at my level base. මම ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝටම මට උපරිමයෙන් උදව් කරනවා. Number one, how do you identify the human quality distinguished by this teacher? So what's the human quality you identify in this teacher? Write 4 positive thoughts that you assume which will be arisen within students who listen to this teacher's statement. මේක ඇහුවට පස්සේ මොන වගේ positive thoughts එයිද මේ ළමයින්ට? Name 3 counseling skills that the teacher should possess when he or she works with students and explain how those skills will be useful using examples. Right. Counseling skills කියන්නේ active listening, understanding, questioning, ඒ වගේ. Right? So now I will give you, now it's 8:30. I will give you, how long do you need? 5 minutes would be enough or do you need 10 minutes? Everyone has to give you idea. How long do you need? Tell me a time. වෙලාවක් කියන්න මට කොච්චර ඕනද කියලා. 5 minutes ඇතිද? 10 minutes onlyද? Tell me how long do you need for this? Hello, are you
10
sleeping?
10 minutes.
Okay, right. Now exactly 8:40, I will ask you to give your idea. Everyone should get ready, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Okay, right. Now go on. Are you ready? Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, tell your answers. How do you identify the human quality of this teacher?
The teacher is stating that she will not differentiate anyone on the
Hmm.
basis of family background, abilities, appearance, or qualities, and she
Hmm.
says that she will treat all alike.
Yeah. So then give one word for that.
Fairness.
Fairness, equality. Okay. Right.
Impartiality.
Impartiality. Okay. Number two. Now, when the students hear this, what kind of positive thoughts would come to the students' mind?
They will get confident. They will get confident. They will
Right.
try to become friendly with the teacher.
Hmm.
Another thing is, first of all, after hearing this, they will be very happy,
Hmm.
and this may help them to score good marks.
Okay. Right. Any other answers? Others also give your answers. There's no one exact answer. You can give relevant answers. Tell.
Trust.
Uh, yeah.
Trust.
Yeah.
They
To build trust towards
build a
teachers.
sense of trust in the
Hmm.
teacher's support
Hmm.
and also motivation,
Mm-hmm.
the encouragement to improve academically and personally.
Yes. They will be inspired to do their studies well. Okay.
The teacher will
Any
be
other answers?
good friend who listen to
Hmm.
her students.
Yeah, she will listen to. Here, the question is write four positive thoughts that you assume which will be arisen within the students. ළමයින්ට ඇති වෙන positive thoughts මොනවාද? So they will have trust towards teacher. They will get inspired to do their studies more. They will be encouraged to do their studies. Are they?
They will feel that
They
they
will
are
build
not
up
alone.
firm determination. They are not alone. Yes, they know that they will feel that the teacher is always with them. They are not alone. What else?
Teachers' talking style is very good.
Yeah, that they will feel trust and love towards the teacher.
They will feel comfort with the teacher. They will like to attend the school every
But
day.
I couldn't hear you well. What is that? Yeah, they
They
will
will
attend to school every day because they know
every day. Yes,
that
they will
there's somebody
give
with them.
their yes.
Yeah,
They will give their leadership. They will come in front of the classroom without fear. She is
yeah,
kind teacher.
they will take the leadership without any fear, that they know that teacher will not humiliate them, or that she will not that means find faults with the students, right? Okay, last one. Name three counseling skills that the teacher should possess when he or she works with the students, and explain how these skills will be useful. Yeah, what are the
Teacher has to be
Empathy.
confidential about their personal details because no one will get to know their negative backgrounds and all.
Or else we can use this as active listening. So teacher can listen to them actively when they have problems. So she can understand. Now active listening is one skill. Active listening means now when a client comes and tells the problems, the counselor has to get away from all the work and listen to, give the focus to the client, so that she can listen attentively to the students when they have problems, when they tell their problems, and she can understand. So if she listens very carefully, that she can understand their problems. Then uh, questioning, so she can question the students when they have some problems that they cannot understand. So then she can question and get them realize their real problems, right? So
Empathy, madam.
these are the counseling skills that the teacher can. Even empathy, yeah, empathy, yeah, empathy is also one of the skills. So what do you mean by empathy? What is
Looking at
that?
the client's perspective. The teacher also should be able to view that particular problem in student's perspective.
Yeah, so then just like put into the shoe of the child. එයාගේ සපත්තුවටම බැහැලා ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ that we have to understand, we have to feel the student's problem as it is. එයාට දැනෙනවා වගේම අපිට දැනෙන්න ඕනේ. The problem or sorrow or happiness, whatever it is. Right? Okay, good. Right.
Ability to interpret information.
Interpret information. That means now sometimes that they tell lots of things, right? Then the counselor should be able to summarize it. You told, I think your problem is this. So you don't like this subject because teacher has punished you. So therefore that you need to do this. Like that teacher should be able to summarize and sometimes tell it back to the child, reflect it, right? So there are so many counseling skills that a teacher has to use when working with the students, right? Right. Then working with parents or guardians, the role of parents, guardians is very important in life of their children, right? So then counselor need to collaborate with the parents. Now sometimes they have to work with the parents in when the counselor wants to solve certain problems of the students. Then it is not he or she is not going to give family counseling when there are family problems. That school counselor is not going to give family counseling for the parents. But anyhow, now imagine now the parents are separated and the child has some problems. So the counselor is not going to give family counseling and ask them to be together, not like that. So the counselor says that the child has these problems, so you have to act like this. So like that they can get the help from the parents to solve the problems of the child. Then the main responsibility of the school counselor is to help in the personal, social, educational, and career development of the students. So now I told you that it's a total personal development. So then every perspective, the development is expected from counseling. The school counselors provide parents with the necessary information related to education and career of their children. So they have to provide correct information about the child in order to help the child. The school counselor may not share personal or confidential information with the parents unless required. Sometimes, but most of the time, we have to tell the parents because we can't hide. අපිට parents ළඟින් hide කළා මේ කරන්න අමාරු ඒ නිසා we have to මේ අපි හිතමු දැන්. Now, if this is revealed, the child is in a dangerous situation. එහෙම නැත්නම් we can tell the parents secretly this kind of problem the child has, and we have to help them to overcome. Imagine now the child has fallen in love with the wrong person. Then මේක හංගන් ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. We can't hide it. We have to tell the parents now this kind of problem. This child has this kind of problem. She has built up a relationship with the wrong person, a married person, or person who is consuming drugs. So මේක හංගලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. So we have to tell the parents, reveal the parents, and get their support to get rid of this thing, or to give her support to overcome the problem, right? Working with colleagues and professional associates. That the main aim of guidance and counseling service is to enhance the success of all learners, keeping the broader perspective of society in mind. So we have to help the clients to live fully in the society, right? Then school council is responsible for maintaining and establishing relationship with the school staff and several other service providers who work with student and the school, right? Now, the counselor has to have good relationship with the teachers in the staff, because now if the teachers are made aware about the service, whenever the students face problems, they will direct the children to the counseling service. Now that also a kind of help that is given to do their studies well. Now imagine now there's a child who is suffering from some depression or psychological problem or individual problem. The teacher can quickly direct the child to the counseling center to help the child to overcome the problem. Right? So therefore, counselor has to maintain good relationship with the school staff and other service providers. As an example, the career counselors. No, she or she can organize a career counseling workshop. For that, they need some outsiders. Now, sometimes that they have to make the students aware about consumption of drugs and child abuse. So in such cases, they have to invite the police officers or women and child and women bureaus, some officers from Lama Kanta Karashvalai. So they have to invite them. So therefore, they have to keep contacts with all these people. The school counselors are required to work within the limits of the law and professional ethics. I told you that there are certain ethics, so they can't go beyond them. They have to follow the ethics. Right. Then when working with the school and community, the school counselors act as educators as well as counselors. Now these counseling units are given to teachers who have postgraduate qualifications in their, so we don't give this position to everybody, every teacher. Those who have followed postgraduate, those who have acquired postgraduate qualification, like postgraduate counseling subject psychology subjects right? So they are selected and they are given a training. Apart from that, there are certain students, the teachers, they are fully released from their personal timetable for full-time as full-time counselors. That is, when there are students more than 700 in the school, these teachers are fully released from their timetable. But if it is less than that number, that teachers are they have to work according to timetable, as well as part-time they have to work as counselors. They help students in guiding for activities and offer counseling service. The counselor must keep the counseling service separately from education. So apart from teaching, they have to do counseling separately. The counselor may offer personal counseling to the students and may teach certain skills that may help them to face educational challenges. So I told you that they can organize different workshops for the students by using certain resource persons apart from what they teach in the class. The role of the counselor is to integrate guidance and counseling services to address school and community needs. So he or she has to identify the needs of the school, needs of the community, and they have to organize guidance and counseling programs or services. Then the school counselor with the staff should develop guidance and counseling programs that align with the goals and mission of the school. Now, as an example, if the goal of the school is to get 90 or 95% of O-level results, so she or he can organize seminars, can invite some ISAs or relevant person to conduct workshops for the students, how to face the papers and how to score more marks like that. Then, when developing counseling and the guidance plan, school counselor should identify the needs and implements the program. Then monitor and adjust the program to cater to the development needs of the students. So then when organizing counseling programs, they have to consider about the needs of the students. Right? Now imagine that they have some negative ideas about education. So there are some students who think so. So like that, there are some students who have very negative view about education. In such cases, this counselor has a greater role that he can get some people or even select some teachers from the school and organize some positive thinking workshops. Or else if they have wrong attitudes, if they feel no use of staying in this country and all these things, they can have some positive thinking for the students. Even there are some students who are disastrous ඉස්කෝලේ තියෙනවා කඩනවා බින්දිනවා පුටු පොලේ ගහනවා. So there are some children like that. In such cases also we can get some experts to make them aware about these kind of behaviors and to help them to overcome them. Then right, consultation support provided. School counselors are professional staff members who work with other teachers and professionals to help learners succeed and adjust to their learning environment. We already discussed. They have to work with the staff members. They have to work with other people in the community. Like they have to have connections with the police officers and other counselors, other experts in different professional fields, right? Because they have to get support to improve, help the students. School counselors provide education, guidance, and counseling to all students and carry out activities such as direct instruction, guidance education, team teaching, group and individual counseling, student support, team planning. So these kind of activities they can organize through different seminars, workshops, and inviting people from outside, or organizing workshops or seminars by teachers, employing capable teachers from the school, right? Then tell me, what are the problems encountered by the school counselors? මොනවද ඒකට එන ප්‍රශ්න? Tell me some of the problems encountered by school counselors.
Parental involvement.
Related to what? When they take a decision, parents are involved in that. When they take a decision related to students, parents involved in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. Parental involvement. What else?
Heavy workload sometime, ma'am, if they are free from the timetable, it's not a matter. If they
Yes.
have to do this both at the meantime, it will be a big workload for the school
Yes,
counselor.
yes. If they have to do a lot, that means full timetable and do counseling, it's very difficult for them to manage. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What else? That non-support. So if the colleague teachers do not support, if they don't have a positive view about this counseling unit, if they don't direct children with problems, then again, it is a problem encountered by the school council. Like any teachers la prashnatin lama yomu karanne නැත්තම්. So if they don't have trust related to the counselor, then it's a problem. If the principal doesn't support, doesn't facilitate the counselor, then again problem. When the students are reluctant to come for counseling, if the parents don't know about counseling, then they are the problems encountered by counsel. And most of the time, they don't have a proper place to give counseling. Counseling in hariyata තැනකුත් නැහැ. They don't, school doesn't provide a proper place for them to give counseling. Right. What are the similarities and differences of guidance and counseling? Okay, you can read this. Yeah. What are the similarities? The first four are similarities. You can find some more. Right? What are they? Both. Yes, read the first one.
Both are involved with the overall development.
What is the purpose of guidance and counseling? Yeah, that is overall development of an individual. The main purpose of guidance and counseling, both, they came overall, ultimate goal is to overall development of an individual. Another one? Both are helpful to find best solution to the problem. Now in the guidance, the guide finds ready-made solutions, but in counseling, counselors support the client to find the best solution to the problem. Then both are moving towards self-realization, self-empowerment. To take decisions or to do certain things. Both go hand in hand. Guidance and counseling are not two separate streams. They go both hand in hand. So counseling is part of guidance. So therefore they go hand in hand. So when it comes to differences of guidance and counseling, guidance is external analysis External means outsider will help. Counseling inward analysis, that means client has to think by himself. Counselor is only facilitating him. Then guidance can be provided by any person, superior or expert, peer, whatever it is. But counseling given by whom? Who can give counseling?
A professionally trained person.
Yes, professionally trained person or a person with high skills. Then guidance provided for education and career related problems. Then counseling for personal and social issues. Guidance වගේ career guidance නම් හැමෝටම කරන්න පුළුවන්නේ. Job එකක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන නමුත් අපි counseling දෙන්නේ those who have personal problems, social problems ඒ වගේ වලට. Then guidance will take a short period. Sometimes counseling will take for a long period of time. Depression වගේ ගත්තොත් if a child, a client is suffering from depression, we have to give them for years and years. Right. Then guidance, cordial and satisfying relationship is needed. That means guide should be very close person to them. Someone who හිතවත් කෙනෙක් තමයි guidance දෙන්නේ. Counseling should be given by a trustworthy person because he or she should not reveal the personal information to anybody. Guidance does not lead to self-discovery. එයාට ඔක්කොම ready-made හොයලා දෙනවා. But counseling, it goes for self-discovery because the counselor is only a facilitator. එයා උදව් කරනවා විතරයි client. So client has to do self-discovery and find solutions to his or her problems. Guidance, comprehensive and extroverted approach. Extroverted means outside approach එකක් වෙන පිට කෙනෙක් දෙන. මේක in depth බොහොම ගැඹුරු. Introverted ඒක තමන්ම තමයි මේක approach එක හොයාගන්නේ. Then guidance, decision making is by the guide. Guide can find find ready-made solutions, or he can tell you can do this, right? But here counseling, decision making is done by the client. He has the authority. Then guidance help to tackle current problems. Counseling help tackle future problems. That means now when counseling is given for a present problem, the client learns when he gets similar problems. ඒ වගේ සමාන ප්‍රශ්න આવත් එයාට. So he will find use those techniques that he used for this problem for the future problems. Then guidance does not need a special place for giving guidance. Even they can do it at home or in the school or at the Sunday fair, wherever it is. But for counseling, they need a separate place, right? Guidance gives no place to feelings, right? But counseling, they give more place for feelings. They consider their feelings, the client's feelings. Then guidance, open and less private. Counseling is very confidential. Therefore, counselor should not reveal any information of the client to anybody. Guidance, any behavioral changes cannot be seen. But behavioral change එකක් වෙන්න යාලට මොනහරි guidance එකක් නෙදෙන්නේ. Maybe that to apply for a job or to overcome some light problem. But here, from counseling, behavioral changes can be seen. As an example, if a child is suffering from some kind of stress or depression, so through counseling, they can change their behavior. Imagine now a child is always in sad behavior, kalpana karanawa. So then, after finding a solution, he will be okay. Then ready-made solutions are given in guidance. Here, counseling, individual is allowed to understand the problem and find solution by him or herself. Like මං කිව්වේ අර Carl Rogers එක totally different කියලා මේකට. Right? So this is what counseling, accepted counseling. The process of guidance can be repeated several times. Guidance is an integral part of counseling. It can be given commonly. මෝටම් පොදුවේ දෙන්න පුළුවන් guidance කියන එක. So like how to select subject streams. Right now, awareness about child abuse, awareness of drug addiction. So like that, they can give a common guidance to the students. Can be given to a group of people. But here, counseling, it is they cater to a specific problem of an individual. Right? It is given to an individual. Right. So anything that you need to get clarified. So that self-theory of Carl Rogers is exceptional to counseling. So apart from that, if you don't understand any other thing, just tell me. Are you okay with the rest of the information we discussed? Okay, right. So thank you. Okay, thank you very much. If you have anything, you can just tell me next day. You go through, I will send this to you. Then you can go through it and we will have a discussion, right? And I want you to go through the first 5 slides related to that Carl Rogers self-directed theory or something. So go through that because that sometimes you may not understand certain things. That is in the, it was extracted from the note that was in your syllabus. Actually, I am also, we don't teach that to our students in our college. We are teaching that counseling is this, but it's totally different from what we teach for students. So you go through it and we'll, if you have anything that we'll discuss next day, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you for listening and we'll meet again. Okay. Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you so
Good
much.
night, madam.
Okay.
Good
You're
night.
welcome.